Good afternoon. My name is Tony Spinelli, and I am a winemaker. I am 71 years of age, and I've been making wine for many, many years. It is an art that I learned from my father, my grandfather, and uncle. And I am very proud of it, and I carry this until the day I die. Today, I am here to answer any question on winemaking, because many, many people have been sending me questions and making comments about wine. And I really want to make this video so that I can present in a question and answer form all the answers and questions that have been presented to me over a period of time on winemaking.
All right, Mr. Winemaker, one question that the readers and viewers have written in with is, how many grapes are used to make 1 gallon of wine?
In order to make 1 gallon of wine, the amount of grapes depends and varies on the type of grape, because you have to realize that in order to make 1 gallon of wine, first of all, we need a grape that contains a sugar content of at least 24%, because 50% of the sugar content is turned into ethanol alcohol and wine, which would turn into a 12% alcohol. So we should start off with a grape that is at least 24% in sugar content.
Another question readers and viewers have written in with is, can we use the natural wild yeast on the grape skin?
Yes, you can. For many, many years, in fact, thousands of years, this is how wine was produced. But the only problem with using the wild yeast on the grape skins is it is very unpredictable. At times, you can't produce a bad wine and possibly vinegar.
How many days do you leave the wine in the primary stage of fermentation?
The primary stage of fermentation is the first period of fermentation. And most of the times, most of the alcohol, in fact, 90% of the alcohol is made in the first 10 days of fermentation. So I would have to say to leave it in there a minimum of 10 days.
How long do you leave it in the secondary fermentation?
The secondary fermentation is a minimum of 15 days until racking time.
And another question is, what is a water seal in winemaking?
The water seal is used at the secondary fermentation period. What that does is it keeps oxygen from getting into the wine.
What is racking wine?
Racking is actually what is known as transferring from one container to the next by a siphoning action.
Do you use any special cleaning solution when you're washing the wine bottles and the equipment?
Well, cleanliness is one of the most important things in winemaking, because the first thing you never want is bacteria. Once you develop a bacteria in a wine, you can't spoil the wine and possibly turn it to vinegar. So we do use a solution called sodium metabisulfite or potassium metabisulfite, and it takes 2 tablespoons per gallon to make a cleaning solution, which kills 99 7/8% of bacteria.
How long should you wait before you drink new wine?
That's another question that varies. You know, if you want a lousy wine, anyone can make wine in 30 days. But it is not really considered a good wine. This particular wine that you see in front of me here is approximately 18 months old. I produced this wine 18 months ago, and still I haven't opened these bottles. I personally like to wait at least 2 years, but many, many winemakers, especially home winemakers, drink the wine after 90 days.
Can you fortify a weak alcohol wine to make it a stronger alcohol content?
Yes, you can. Usually, sometimes during the primary and the secondary fermentation period, if, like we were talking about before, the sugar content of the grape, if you start with a grape that has a very low sugar content, or a juice concentrate that has a very low sugar content, what happens is you produce a low alcohol wine, and in order to bring it up to a standard 12% or 13% alcohol level, you fortify it with brandy.
Is there anything special you do to prepare for the bottling of the wine?
Yes. Whenever you're going to bottle your wine, when your wine is fermented fully through the secondary stage of fermentation, it is ready for bottling, the first thing you have to do is get all your bottles and your corks and whatever equipment you're going to use, funnels, siphoning hoses, and you have to wash them thoroughly in a solution of sodium metabisulfite.
Well, Mr. Winemaker, that concludes the list of questions that our readers and viewers have written in with in the recent months. Thanks for your time today. Is there anything you'd like to say to cap this off?
Thank you, sir. And I would like to say to all winemakers throughout the world, God bless all of you, and always remember, good wine and good food. This is Anthony Spinelli, winemaker.